Hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash stay friends favorite content creator. This week, um, this past weekend, I saw a movie. I saw Trapped, the M Night Shyamalan film. I'm not gonna give you guys any spoilers, but it's like an okay film. It's like a 7 out of 10. Not too bad, not too great. But I found myself enjoying it for maybe not the reasons why most people enjoy films, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I started thinking, when did in terms of like video games, when did that stop mattering? Like within the discourse of the communities where people are talking about their favorite games and what's a good game, what's a bad game. I've been noticing more and more and more people just bring up shit like concurrent players or sales. And like, listen, if I am a publisher, yeah, those figures matter to me. But as a consumer, why do I give a shit if a game has a bunch of sales or if a game has a lot of players or not? Like that doesn't make the game not enjoyable, right? I saw on Twitter today that this guy was talking about how Helldivers 2 fell off and the fall off needs to be studied. It has like 40,000 concurrent players. It had like 50,000 concurrent players on average. Just because it's not at the insane levels that it was before. But nothing really maintains those numbers unless you are reiterating constantly and you happen to be on a patch that people super fucking love. Those numbers are going up and down. Simply happens to Fortnite, right? Fortnite's been going on for years and it's still very popular, but at its peak it's not it's not as powerful as it is now, but it's still doing good. But I don't know when the conversations shifted to just figures and numbers. I feel like that's such a useless metric when you're coming from the consumer standpoint. Because again, let's say you were playing, what's a fun game? Lies of P. Let's say you're into that. You wanted a Dark Souls game, Elden Ring content hasn't come out yet. You're playing Lies of P. Lies of P did not sell nearly as much as like Elden Ring did. Does that make Lies of P a bad game? If only 1,200 people were playing it at peak when it launched, does that make it a bad game? Does your enjoyment from a game derive solely from the fact that you can claim that your gamer instincts are better and you chose a winner? Or do you actually give a shit about the game you're playing? I, for one, am on the latter side. I think as long as you can enjoy the game, sales don't fucking matter. There's been so many games that are cult classics for a reason, right? They didn't sell that well. But for the people who played them, they have a special place in their heart. Like, a God Hand. Or for me, Okami apparently didn't do well enough to get a fucking full-blown sequel. It had ones on a 3DS like Okami did, but I loved Okami. I think it's fucking great. I would love an actual sequel to Okami, but probably not getting one. That doesn't mean Okami's a bad game. It's a wonderful game. It's a beautiful game. It has really cool mechanics. I love the music. I love the fact that you're playing as just like this god creature, but you're just a fucking wolf who can paint real good. And you have a little grasshopper little buddy that annoys you, like a little flea guy. And it's fun. It's cool. But for a lot of people, it didn't appeal to them, which is fine. It didn't sell that well, whatever. But I wouldn't say it's a bad game. No, for the same reason, I don't think games that sell millions and millions and millions of copies are inherently automatically fun, interesting, good games. Those games just happen to have sold lots of copies. If we are looking at it in terms of just sales, then sure. But again, I don't think that's the full conversation. And from our standpoint, the consumers, that shouldn't even be part of the conversation. But I'm also noticing that people have been attaching more and more of themselves to the media they consume, the products they purchase, which is also super weird, because then we start critiquing a game, talking about places where it might falter, and they take that as like attacks on themselves, on their character, which I will never truly understand. You could talk shit about a game all day. It doesn't make me not like a game anymore, And I know some of you guys have parasocial relationships with content creators, and if they hate your game, or game you really love, you take that to heart. But it's like, why? You love that game. Why does their opinion on that shit fucking matter? You can still love it. You can acknowledge its faults. You can still love it. And also, you didn't make the game. I hope you didn't. If you didn't, it's different. But you didn't make the game. You're just a player of it. This level of like attachment to games, I think it's so fucking weird. Like, we have to be at a point where we can enjoy things, critique things, and be done with it. And that's it. Kind of like the movie I watched. I'm sure M. Night Shyamalan won't be, you know, doing a Randy Pitchford, which, can we just a sidebar? That's an insane thing to do. If you guys aren't aware, well, if you weren't aware, Borderlands came out, the movie. But if you weren't aware about more facts, Randy Pitchford started just like blocking people who were talking not too good about the game, or sorry, about the movie, including Paul Tassi from Forbes. And then he had a weird post about how he didn't want to fuck up his money, so he unblocked him. And I'm just like, buddy, you made the game, not the fucking movie. Like, that's a weird thing to do. Like, you're out here crashing out over reviews for something you didn't have a direct hand in. Unless I'm wrong and he directed the movie, what the fuck do you care? There's been Borderlands games that didn't sell well. Did you start attacking critics then? Like, who cares, dude? It's not your movie. Like, it may be your product, but like, you didn't make the movie. Why are you going around blocking people on Twitter? That's fucking weird. But yeah, don't do that. But that's kind of what I'm talking about. We're getting to this weird, insane point where just having conversations about video games, whether it's critiquing them, you know, praising them, what have you, are eliciting such weird results that it's getting harder and harder to just talk about games. Whether it's games media, movies based off games themselves, like, it's getting so difficult to just be like, I want to talk about this game and why I think it's cool, but it has some bad parts. And I know a lot of that is being exacerbated by the YouTube algorithm, where people want to talk about this game sucks and this is why it's bad, and angry. But I want to change that. I know I don't have the big audience, but I want to help change that. I want to help see that change. That's why I talk about games that I like. I don't want to just talk about shit I hate or shit that annoys me. Don't get me twisted. That shit will still happen. But I want to counteract that. Because at the end of the day, we all love video games. It shouldn't be this culture war bullshit. It shouldn't be this us versus them mentality. We all love video games. So we should be able to talk about them, disagree, and be fine. Again, I don't understand why people are attaching such, well, okay, be honest, I do understand why people are attaching identity to them, especially in this current climate, but that's fucking weird. We don't have to do that anymore. We can just talk about games. We just talk about it. Like, I've been playing Paper Trail. It makes me feel dumb as hell, but I keep playing it because I'm enjoying it. I've also been playing, like I said before, Eiyuden Chronicles. That's a long ass game, so I'm taking my time through that. I am really looking forward to playing Black Myth Wukong. I am also checking out this demo of this game called Scarlet Inn. It's like an embroidery game. It looks fun and interesting. That's what I want. I want to play games that are fun and interesting and share that with you guys. But I also want to have these conversations with you guys and not it become this weird, like, oh, you're injecting this and that and the third. And it's like, that's another video where I can talk about like media literacy and all that stuff, which I feel like I have to. But I just want to keep this somewhat simple. We don't gotta start attaching our full identities to video games, and we also can have games that exist that maybe aren't moving the needle but are fun, much like the M. Night Shyamalan movie I saw, Trapped. You're not gonna rave about the film, but it's enjoyable. We need games like that. Those games help the industry, and I don't think it's bad that not every game is making a bajillion dollars or selling like hotcakes or having 800,000 people playing it at once. That's fine, right? Like, it's a normal take. No one's gonna be mad about that. That games don't have to be multi-billion-dollar franchises every single time they release, and they can just like sell a couple of thousand copies and people can just enjoy it on its own merits. That's good. That's gotta be good.